Hey everyone, welcome. In this explainer, we're going to break down a massive 22-mark question from the 2024 final exam paper. So if you've ever looked at one of those big organic chemistry flowcharts and felt a little bit nervous, trust me, you are in the right place. So first things first, let's just take a look at the prize here. 22 marks. We're talking nearly 15% of your entire paper, all from this one single question. Nailing this can make a huge, huge difference to your final grade. So here's the challenge. Yeah, I know. At first glance, this thing looks super intimidating, right? You've got compounds and reactions going all over the place, but I want you to start thinking of it like a puzzle. Every single piece connects to the next, and by the end of this, you'll have a rock-solid strategy to solve it. So how are we going to do it? We've got a simple 5-step game plan. We'll start with the flowchart, then decode the basics to build some confidence. After that, we'll master the reactions, solve the tricky isomer puzzle, and finally, we'll recap with some pro tips to make sure you walk away with every single one of those marks. All right, let's do this. Section 1. Let's get a good look at the entire map we're about to navigate. Now here is the absolute number one thing you gotta remember for these problems. Every single part is linked. The product of one reaction becomes the reactant for the next one. And that's fantastic news for us, because it means solving one little piece gives you the key to the next. It's like a chemical domino effect. Okay, section 2, decoding the basics. We're gonna start with the easy stuff, bank some marks, and build up that confidence. Let's get some points on the board. All right, first up, 4.1, the definition of a cracking reaction. Look, this is straight from the textbook. All you have to say is that it's a process that breaks down long hydrocarbon chains into shorter, more useful ones. Simple as that. 2 marks in the bag. Okay, next up, 4.2, we need to classify 1-bromobutane. Is it primary, secondary, or tertiary? Well, what's the key here? It's all about looking at the carbon that the bromine atom is attached to. So, take a look. What do you think? You got it, it's a primary haloalkane. And the rule is super simple, right? The bromine is bonded to a carbon that's only bonded to one other carbon. It's right there on the end of the chain. That's another 2 marks secured. See? We're on a roll. Okay, now for 4.3.1. We need the structural formula for W. And here's a little secret. The clue isn't in reaction I, it's actually in reaction 2. We see that W reacts to form 1-bromobutane. Well, what kind of reaction is that? It's a substitution, which means W has to be the alkane that it came from, so it has to be butane. And because we figured that out, we know exactly what W looks like. Butane, a straight chain of 4 carbons loaded up with hydrogens. Boom, 3 more marks. You see that? It's that domino effect I was talking about. One clue just unlocked the next step. And that makes 4.3.2 an absolute piece of cake. We know reaction I is just U cracking into W and T. We just found W is C4H10. The question gives us T, it's C4H8. So what do? We just add them up. C4 plus C4 is C8. H10 plus H8 is H18. So compound U is C8H18. Easy. Okay, section 3, mastering the reactions. We've got our compounds locked in. Now let's tackle the nitty-gritty of the reactions themselves, the conditions and the types. All right, this next bit is a quick-fire round, pure memory work. Let's knock out 4.4 and 4.5. So, to turn butane into 1-bromobutane, you need bromine, Br2. The reaction type is substitution, and the condition, you need UV light or heat. Then, for 4.5, reaction 3 is an elimination reaction, specifically dehydrohalogenation. These are the kinds of facts you just gotta have locked and loaded for the exam. All right, everyone, time for section 4, the isomer puzzle. This is what I call the boss level of the question. It's worth a huge 10 marks. It deals with isomers and balanced equations. Let's break it down. And right away, the question gives us a massive, gigantic clue. It tells us that R and T are positional isomers. Now, what does that mean? It means they have the same molecular formula, C4H8, but the double bond is in a different spot. This right here is the golden key to unlocking the whole final part of the puzzle. So let's break down reaction IV. First off, we need to know what R even is. Well, R comes from the elimination of 1-bromobutane, which gives us but1ene as the major product. So R is but1ene. Then we add HBr. Now remember Markovnikov's rule? The rich get richer. The hydrogen adds to the carbon with more hydrogens, so the bromine goes on the second carbon. That gives us 2-bromobutane as our major product, which is compound S. And just like that, 4.6.3 becomes super easy. Remember that huge clue? R and T are positional isomers. If R is but-1ene, all we have to do is move that double bond from the first carbon to the second carbon. So the IUPAC name for compound T has to be but-2ene. And now for the grand finale, reaction V. We take our product from the last step, compound S, which is 2-bromobutane, and we react it with concentrated sodium hydroxide. This is another elimination. Now Zaitsev's rule says the major product is the most stable, most substituted alkene. And what is that in this case? You guessed it, but-2ene. And look at that, it perfectly confirms what we figured out for compound T. See how it all just clicks together? And there you have it. We've solved the entire 22-mark puzzle, every compound, every reaction. So, Section 5, Recap and Pro Tips. Let's do a quick recap of the skills you just flexed, and I'll give you a couple of my top tips for exam day. Just take a second and look at this list. Today, you just proved you can handle cracking, classify haloalkanes, tell the difference between all the major reaction types, work backwards to find formulas, use isomer clues, and write full balanced equations. These aren't just random facts. These are the absolute core skills you need for organic chemistry. Okay, pro tip number 1, and this is a big one. Always remember these flowchart questions are designed to connect. The answer to part 1 is often the key to part 2. So if you ever get stuck, don't panic. Look at the question before or even the one after. The answer is probably hiding in plain sight. And pro tip number 2, read every single word. That tiny little phrase, positional isomers, that was the golden key that unlocked the final 10 marks of this question. The examiners put those clues in there for a reason. Make sure you use them. And that's how you take a stary 22-mark question and break it down into simple, logical steps. The key is just seeing how it all connects. If you found this helpful and you want to conquer more questions just like this one, make sure you smash that follow button on TikTok and subscribe on YouTube at Mr. Chang for more exam-winning explainers. All right, keep up the great work, and I'll see you in the next one.